So some people know, most people don't. I suffer with fibromyalgia, and pre-COVID, one of the ways that I was coping was regular use of the sauna, up to 5 times a week. So this is the one that I bought back in June last year, and as you can see, it's not even at my house, it's in the stable at my mum's, because it's practically big enough to live in. Which wasn't the issue. The issue was warming it up. So I was taking a 6 kilowatt heater over an hour to get it to a useful temperature. So what I've had to do is build my own. I didn't have the insight to record when I was actually putting the sauna together. However, as you can see from these pictures, I made quite a basic frame that would slot together and clad it with some plastic cladding that I had spare. I also had some oak shiplap spare, and the rest of the wood I had to purchase to finish the job. And to keep the budget down, this was just B-grade pine shiplap. There are a few teething problems that I have had to address. So obviously I used the cheapest wood I could find, the cheapest shiplap I could find, which is pine, and it was pretty wet when I put the sauna together. And after using the sauna for about a week, all the panels have come apart because they've dried out and shrank so much. So I'm going to have to adjust all the panels, and also I'd have probably put the shiplap vertically, as it's not strong enough horizontally to support the heater. This weighs an absolute ton, so I've had to support it. But what I think I'm going to do, because I'm going to reset these boards, is put the heater on the floor, so not have it hanging off the wall. So I'm going to start adjusting all these boards. What will probably happen now is, if I ever come to take this apart again, all the boards will expand and probably crack open. And I'm a little bit gutted because I'd sealed all the corners nicely. This is what you get for trying to do things cheap. So this had bowed quite a bit, so I want to guide it back in. So I've got one side all put back together, all close up again, and this is the gap that has been created over 1.8 meters. We've got almost 8 centimeters of shrinkage, which I was not expecting, even with using the wrong wood. So I've had to buy another 4 pieces of wood to go around the top. So 3 more sides to do, and I'm going to make sure that these pieces of wood are dried out before I fit them. So this is the final setup, and this is probably how it will stay until the actual saunas reopen. So as you can see, I've stuffed insulation into the corners where it wasn't a very good fit. I've also had a little bit of warping with different types of wood, and obviously I put a lot of weight on this side internally. So this is actually oak and this is pine wood. So the door has warped a little bit. I've added some strong decking beams which allow me to safely sit on one side. I've dropped the heater onto the floor. Now, if you're wondering what sort of time it takes to heat up, this sauna is 120 by 80 externally and about 180 centimeters high internally. And now I've obviously adjusted all the panels. I haven't got quite as good a seal as I had before, but it takes about 15 minutes in the weather they're currently having in March to get up to 45-50 degrees. I've actually got it running now. But once I'm in here, I can shut the door with my basic lock, and I'll spend about 10 minutes in here and it will warm up to about 75-80 degrees. This is after continually adding water to the rocks. It warms up pretty quickly in here, as the only ventilation is the lack of a seal around the whole sauna. So if you're thinking about making a homemade sauna, all I would suggest is spending a little extra on the wood. I've used pine inside. A lot of the wood that I used I already had. I had some oak left and I had some plastic panels that I've used on the larger sides, so obviously that was free. I've spent around £140 in total on the wood and about £30 on loft insulation that's obviously sandwiched in between the wood and the external cladding. I mean, really, other than the shrinkage that I've had with the pine wood, this is the only other issue, is the sap leaking out of the wood. However, when the sauna is off and the wood is cold, this all just cracks off really easily. So it's not a massive issue, other than if your skin touches it while it's wet, because it sticks to your skin and you can't get it off for days. The usual wood when making a sauna is cedar and redwood, as far as I can recall, and perhaps the boards could do with being vertical instead of horizontal. Now, I hope some of this video has helped some people out there. I'm sure there are professional how-tos on how to make saunas. This is how I managed with
the resources that I had. Obviously, coping with a condition during lockdown has been quite difficult. I'm aware that a lot of people have suffered worse than I have, and some people have managed okay and found new ways to live. I've tried my best not to dwell on the difficulties, and I've tried my best to make as much new content as possible during lockdown within the rules where I can. If you've been struggling with a condition or just struggling in general, I'd love to hear how you've been coping in the comments section, and I really do hope that everyone out there is finding ways to manage with or without health conditions. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you'll stick around to see some of my future videos.